Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about color coding inside of your IEP folders. So if you've followed me over at Mrs. D's Corner for any amount of time, you know that I love color coding in the classroom. But color coding for me doesn't stop with student bins or student IEP binders. It actually found its way and started really in my IEP binders and IEP folders that I was keeping for my own students. So we all know that students have a cum folder, right? Every student has a cum folder at your school, and most times those folders are like super thick if they've been in the system for special education services for any amount of time. So for me, I have always taken information from those folders and made my own smaller folder for my classroom, which looks something like this. Now this is a sample folder, and I've pulled some sample information and data sheets to show you what I mean about color coding inside of the folders. Now inside of intentional IEP writing, I talk more about using this color coding. Really, it's like a key for you inside of your folders. Now, this is just a recommendation. You can make the papers any color that you want, but let me explain why it works. So you know when you have a folder and everything is printed on white paper and you're looking for something specific inside of a student's folder, typically we don't tab things right inside of a file folder. We don't put little Post-it notes or anything to be able to pull something quicker than anything. And our time is always strapped. We always have 9,473 different things to do at any given minute. So anytime that I can save a second here or a minute there, it really helps me be able to leave contract time on time and take time for me outside of teacher me, right? So this is why it's so important for me to color code inside of these IEP folders for myself, but also as my students are getting passed on to other grade levels, as they're moving up or moving to different schools, I can then send this out to them and they can enjoy that and then be able to implement it themselves as well. So basically what my IEP folders look like when I have IEPs for my students in the classroom is on the front, I'm always gonna put this like IEP snapshot of the folder. So you know how we send out IEP snapshots for our students, for their IEPs, we give them out to the parents, we give them out to service providers, we give them out to the gen ed teachers. But I like to put just like a mini snapshot on the front of all of the folders. That way, if I just quickly need to say, okay, what is Stephanie's disability? What is her disability category? Or when is Stephanie's evaluation due? Or when was the last time Stephanie's IEP meeting was? When is her next IEP meeting supposed to be? Or different things like that. All I have to do is pull her folder out and just look at the front. I don't have to pull the whole IEP out. All of that information is here on the front for me, and it just makes it so much easier when it comes to finding that information. So that's where I start. Now I don't color code that, I just print it on regular paper and staple it to the front. When you open up the folder, this is not color coded, but I wanted to share this with you. I always have a check-in folder. So if somebody else is going to pull the folder and look at it, I like to have a record of who's pulling it to look at it, just for data purposes. In case gen ed wants to pull it or a para wants to pull it, we can always say, this is who looked at it last. If maybe there's something missing or maybe I need to add something, I can have that person sign in and then I know that that person added it in. So it just has the person of record, the date, and then the reason for that person inspecting the folder and the reason for that person being inside of that IEP folder. These are great for cum folders. Actually, one of the school districts that I work for did this, so I started implementing it in my own IEP folders because I do share these IEPs with paras and the rest of the IEP team, so just to keep track of who's looking at what. Now, inside of the folders, you know that you have so much information. You have different evaluation reports, you have progress notes, you have accommodation sheets, you have data sheets, work samples, all of these different things. How do you keep track of it? And let me ask you a different question. Let's say I need you to provide to me as the parent really quick, like on the spot, within the next couple of minutes, the child's progress reports for the last marking period. You don't have to then go say, oh, let me pull it from the file. Or maybe you're looking for the parent questionnaire, right? So that parent questionnaire is not gonna be in the IEP writing system, right? That's gonna be something that you have for your own records. So let me say, okay, Stephanie, Mrs. D, I need you to pull out the parent questionnaire from the previous IEP so we can kind of compare this questionnaire to the last questionnaire. And then you don't have anything color coded inside of your IEP folder, right? So maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go through like 9,000 different pages inside the IEP folder. The purpose of color coding different pages inside of your IEP folder for you, and even the student's cum folder makes it amazing when the student's cum folder is also color coded, is when that instance comes when you're saying, okay, what was the last prior written notice sent out? When is the last nurse form? When was that last filled out? Where's the last evaluation report? Where are the progress notes? Where are all the questionnaires that you sent out? I want to see them. You can easily think, now once you have your system in place for the different colors of things, you can say, okay, parent questionnaire, that's on like a yellowish orange piece of paper. And then I can literally just go through here. Parent questionnaire is on a yellow sheet of paper. And I can just pull the parent questionnaire and I have it already and I can say, here you go, let's take a look at it. So when I'm sending this out to the parent, I am printing it on this yellow piece of paper. When I'm having the student fill out the parent or their student questionnaires, I will have them fill it out on this color of paper. When I'm having the general ed teacher fill this out, I will have them fill it out on this color of paper because it's going to go in my folder and I want to be able to find it at the drop of a hat if I need it. The nurse form is always going to be on a purple piece of paper. That way I can always find it whenever I need at the drop of a hat inside of the folder. So here's another look inside of just what could be color coded. Now you don't have to color code everything. I probably color coded more than I should for this sample one, more than I normally would. But I just wanted to show you some different examples of what your folder could look like. So prior written notice, you have your invitation, you have your student's IEP, which I've never color coded the IEP. I always print it on white paper because you usually have to copy it. So I usually just print it on white paper to make it easy. If the student has an FBA or a BIP, print it on red. Again, you have all of your questionnaires. And notice I keep my questionnaires in the same, let's call it the same shade family of yellow-orange so that I always know to look for questionnaires in yellow/orange. I have my nurse form. So now this is an example of something that maybe not every student needs, so it's not gonna have its own specific color. Assistive technology. So this is a request for assistive technology evaluation, and then behind it you have plan surveys, app recommendation forms. You have IEP meeting notes. Maybe those are in a specific color inside of your folder as well. Intervention list, or maybe these are accommodations that students use for a previous assessment. You're keeping track of them. Or maybe you have inclusion service documentation. Now, me personally, this is something I just print on white paper, and then I'll put all of the students' things in their own file folder, but I wanted to show you that you could have this in here as well. Maybe you have evaluation reports. Now, this is a sample evaluation report I pulled from the internet. If you search sample of evaluation report for an IEP, you can see different examples if you wanted to see some. But basically, color coding helps you find things inside of your IEP folders, whether it's your own personal folder in your classroom for your students, or it's the student's CUME folder at the school district. Color coding inside of all of the paperwork inside of your folder helps you be able to locate different things a lot quicker than you ever would if you were just sifting through a bunch of white shades or white pieces of paper. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you're thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I could still try with just using blue paper, or maybe just green, or maybe I'll just do the questionnaires on a specific color form or a specific color of paper. So I urge you, and this is my homework for you if you're watching this quick video, to take the time and just maybe take a questionnaire and print it on a colored piece of paper. And when you send it out next time, send it out on that green piece of paper or send it out on blue, whichever color you pick. There's not really a rhyme or reason to whatever colors I chose. Again, this is just a recommendation, and this is inside the IEP toolkit as well as inside of the intentional IEP. And for all of your IEP needs as teachers and service providers, make sure that you're following the intentional IEP for more tips, tricks, and advice for IEPs. I'll see you guys in the next video.